Hey guys, what's up? I'm CJ and welcome back to my galaxy. Today we are annotating chapter 2 of The Hunger Games. If you didn't watch the first episode, I annotated chapter 1 of The Hunger Games of the very first book. This is the book I have. And essentially this series is so you can annotate along with me or have a look at the things I'm annotating and generally get an idea of some extra tidbits or Easter eggs I find in the books or information, however I analyze the novel. So grab out your own Hunger Games novel and follow along if you would like to. Last time, I think the most notable thing that we found was that Katniss and Gale are very likely related, whether it be extremely distantly, but one of the quotes, if you haven't watched it, definitely go back and watch episode 1. They're very likely related. Probably very distantly, but they're still related. And I think that's kind of weird. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video. I'm watching the show Anne with an E right now while I do this. Also, figured out what I'm gonna do from some suggestions on my videos. I can talk you guys through what I'm doing, and I'm also gonna cut these up. Maybe into like quarters as I go. So I think that'll be a little bit more efficient this time. So I'm just gonna put that there. It'll be just off to the side. Where's the best? I don't know where the best place to put this is. My mouse for my laptop. We left off on chapter 2 when it was announced Primrose Everdeen has been reaped for the Hunger Games. Do you guys like I just knocked my camera. Do you guys like my little bookmark? The little cat. I'm gonna be watching the first episode of Anne with Finny while I do this. I suggest everyone here watches Anne with an E. It's a brilliant show. Bring back for season 4. I don't even remember how okay. Oh, it's such an odd angle while I'm doing this because my camera, I have just a bad setup. So I'm like off to the side here while I'm doing this. I'm just writing down how it's unfair, this quote here. There must have been some kind of mistake. This can't be happening. Prim was one slip of paper and thousands. The odds. Oh god, I've ruined it. Looks dumb now. You would think that I'm not actually right-handed. You can figure out what that means. The unfairness of it all. The odds right here. The odds had entirely been in her favor, but it hadn't mattered. I think that's interesting as well, that it hadn't mattered. That the odds, the capital doesn't allow for, the capital doesn't allow for that. They don't show mercy. I'm gonna highlight that quote. This is what we're gonna do, everyone watch. Is everyone watching? You better be. The odds. This is in my way of moving this pencil case. The odds had entirely been in her favor. But it hadn't mattered. I think that's quite an important line. Oppression doesn't show mercy. I've smudged the highlighter. Whoops. This is not my best handwriting, I'll tell you that much. Untucked little tail. I love this part. That she has like this little mannerism. There we go, got there eventually. That really is recognizable for Prim, showcasing how young she really is. I'm just gonna like the quote. What am I on social media? Literally, I am. I'm gonna highlight this quote because I just like it. Iconic line here. I volunteer as tribute. District 12 hasn't had a volunteer in decades, and protocol has become rusty. I don't want to highlight that, but I do want to like point it out as like a fact of District 12, information of District 12, I guess. Volunteering is complicated when there are lots of people who are eager. But in District 12, where the tribute is pretty much synonymous with the word corpse, volunteers are all but extinct. Important information on careers as well. I'm going to do the same what I did over here, just mark it as a quote. For information on careers, and District 12. I'll just write it up here. Plus the outcome. I'm gonna just likely outcome. Information on career tributes in their districts, the likely outcome in District 12 in their tributes. Lovely, says Effie Trinket. Way too much energy, Effie. Even Effie doesn't know what happens. Candace's relationship with the mayor as well here. Does he remember her? Does he remember that when he gave the medal to her father, vaporized in the mines? I have completely forgotten the name of the mayor's daughter. Population of about 8,000 is something I forgot about. I'll come back to check what Madge. Duh. How am I gonna write this? I don't enjoy trying to write in books. I'll tell you that much. Paragraph. Paragraph on Katniss's relationship with the mayor and Madge. Prim constantly screaming. I feel like perhaps we should point out whenever Prim screams, because she screams a lot. No offense to Prim. She's a child. She's 12 years old. She's very small. I'm just gonna highlight Prim screaming hysterically. Just for the sake of pointing it out, you know. Katniss hiding her emotions here. I don't want to cry, and talking about how telephys the replay of the reapings tonight. And they will not make note of my tears. I will be marked as an easy target. A weakling. I will give no one that satisfaction. So she's yelling, let go. ill, Gale. I think I want to highlight that though, because as much as we hate Gale, that is him actually caring for Prim and protecting her and Katniss. Do I want to highlight it? Maybe I don't want to highlight it. It's a lot of highlighting and I don't feel like doing that. Not for Gale. Too much effort for him. Gale caring for Katniss's family. They stand there unmoving while they take part in the boldest form of dissent they can manage, silence, which says we do not agree, we do not condone, all of this is wrong. Then something unexpected happens. I feel like I'm gonna have to highlight. It's gonna be like a full half a page of highlighting. Oh dear God. At least I don't expect it, because I don't think of District 12 as a place that cares about me. That's extra important. She's more important than she realizes, and I'm just gonna put that down right here. Katniss is more cared for and loved than she realizes. I have to highlight this whole paragraph. Should I be doing that? No. But will I? Absolutely. Because it's important. Oops. That's gonna leak through. My god, look at all that highlighting I've done. Image mocking the Capitol right here, staggering off the stage, mocking at the cameras. Just got more spunk than you. Taunting the Capitol, maybe. Knocks himself unconscious, that's not great. Here, Peeta Mellark, our first introduction to Peeta. First introduction to our beloved Peeta Mellark. I know I was right about not running off, because who else would have volunteered for Prim? Katniss once again holding back her emotions. I don't even have enough time to wish for Gale's safety when she's reading the name, Peeta Mellark. Can you imagine if Gale had been chosen instead? It doesn't even cross her mind that she could possibly be about to go into the arena with Gale. See how I'm not highlighting again because I am all highlighted out. Doesn't cross Katniss's mind she may be about to enter the arena with Gale, and possibly even the consequences of that. Oh no, not him. Because I recognize this name, although I've never spoken directly to its owner, Peeta Mellark. No, the odds are not in my favor today. While highlighting, I noticed the appearance of Peeta Mellark, medium height, stocky build, ashy blonde hair that falls into waves around his forehead. Medium height. I feel like all the depictions of Peeta Mellark are always really tall and stocky build rather than medium stocky build. The boy is not tall. He's medium height. I just find it quite interesting that the depictions aren't actually like medium height. Josh Hutcherson is much closer to the role than we give him credit for. I'm gonna highlight his appearance because I find it important to highlight the appearances of our main characters. You can see his struggle to remain emotionless. I'm going to highlight his appearance, and then I'm also going to mention how quite opposite he is to Katniss here with his emotions. The shock of the moment is registering on his face. You can see the struggle to remain emotionless. What I did was the radical thing. I just find that interesting. Treaty of treason right here as well. Because they committed treason, so they had to do up a treaty after the war. He's probably forgotten it, but I haven't, and I never will. This is the backstory. I love their backstory so much. I'm gonna highlight he's probably forgotten, just because it highlights how she feels as though she's perceived through the outside world, and that it turns out later that Peeta has, of course, not forgotten about her. Katniss assumes no one cares the same as she does. We're going to be highlighting this section as well because I love it. Desperately missing her father here. The district specifically gave them a small amount of money to compensate for his death. Not the capital. Katniss's Mrs. Everdeen grief. She has this very strong depression. Crippling depression. Is depression two P's? I feel as though it's not, and I've spelt it. Crippling depression. I feel as though depression does not have two P's and I've just spelt it wrong. Well, whoever finds this novel at some point in the future, whoops, I'm sorry for spelling it wrong. Which was 11 as well. This needs to be underlined. 11. That's crazy. Community home. Very interesting as well that they had this community home. Kind of, I assume, like foster care. Like how older kids are put in kind of like homes as well together. I feel like this is pure love for Prim here, describing why Katniss would never let Prim go into the community home. Layer of coal dust has settled on everything in this scene. I feel like I don't want to highlight all of this, but rather I'm going to underline it messily. Tesserae. Yeah, another mention of Tesserae. Several weeks until she could get it. The desperation the capital puts in them to not starve. Salvation is not an uncommon fate in District 12. I'm going to highlight that because of how common it is. One day you come upon them sitting motionless against the wall or lying in the meadow. This is quite the description here. Amazing imagery, I would say. Amazing imagery for such a harrowing image. Starvation is never the cause of death officially, it's always the flu or exposure or pneumonia. But that fools no one. Wow. That's also actually very interesting. Because they're hiding the fact that they're starving people. Descriptions of the merchant area. I feel like this whole desperation with hunger is literally called the Hunger Games, is where the best imagery really comes from. Desperation surrounding hunger comes the best imagery. The words were ugly. Oh, drop me pen. The words were ugly. It really describes Miss Malak's harshness as a character. We know that she's an abuser. We can infer that she's an abuser. Oh, here we go, Everlark's origin story. I'm just gonna headline it here. He stuck with the town kids, so how would I? Didn't know his name. Class division right here. The class division is, he was in my year, but I didn't know his name. He stuck with the town kids, so how would I? You stupid creature, to Peeta. He's not stupid, he's just a boy. Was Malak being abusive again? Feed it to the pig, you stupid creature. Why not? No one decent will buy burnt bread. I'm going to highlight this area. It was the boy. In his arms he carried 2 large loaves of bread, and then he began to tear off chunks to describe how exactly, what exactly was going on in these scenes. I find it very important how they met, because had Peeta not saved Katniss, he would not have been there. She would not have been alive to save him in the first Hunger Games. kind of like a butterfly effect, essentially, a ripple effect that had it not all happened, had the odds not fallen into place in such a way, they would not have helped each other and started a rebellion. So it took both of them to start the rebellion. I'm just going to point that out. My parents never hit us. I feel like I need to highlight the whole thing again. I'll refrain from doing so, even though I desperately want to. This whole paragraph, I love it. Not because it's good, but because it tells us so much about the characters in one go. Moak abuse. Moak household abuse. Why is it so damn difficult to write in a book? It shouldn't be this difficult. You can barely make out what that says. I apologize for whoever, maybe even me later on, who finds this and wonders what the hell I was saying. I'm gonna struggle with it. I swear all these sticky notes aren't because I want to highlight all of it. It might be, but you will never know. The boy with the bread. The warmth of this generous, of this gesture, the warmth of this gesture right here. before anyone could witness what had happened. I found that to be an important line. And see, I didn't highlight all of it, just most of it. The way that she was given good hearty bread is amazing. Like, that would have been quite the expense for the bakery. Might have dropped the loaves into the flames. Girl on fire. I wonder if that's supposed to have some sort of meaning. Might have dropped the loaves into the flames. Did he purposely... Peeta would have been quite conscious of everything that was going on, despite us seeing him as quite weak. Make sure this is included, being punished, that he knew that the berries would have them punished. Or that I said that Peeta knew that the berry / his actions would have long-term effects. I swear my writing is normally a lot neater than this. It's just so difficult writing in a book, especially when I have like half cursive handwriting. But I find that it just seems like he knew that what he did here would have long-term effects, and maybe he didn't quite know what it would be, but he did know that it would be something. Oh, here comes the dandelion in the spring. Whoa, his cheeks swelled up and his eye had blackened. Jeez, that must have been a hard freaking slap. The first dandelion of the year. Bells went off in her head. We must highlight, this is a motif. The beginning of the motif. Obviously, I'm highlighting the first dandelion of the year. I must highlight this entire section. The connection between Peeta Malak, the bread that gave me hope, and the dandelion that reminded me that I was not doomed. Her thoughts of owing. Katniss has an obsession with owing. Somehow, how am I supposed to work in a thank you there? Somehow it won't seem sincere if I'm trying to slit his throat. Oh my god. I'm just gonna write, lol. Let the historians figure that one out. Oh well, I think. There will be 24 of us. Odds are someone else will kill him before I do. Of course, the odds have not been very dependable as of late. And they will continue to not be dependable. Sorry, Katniss. And now we're on to chapter 3. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe and comment down below of any quotes you might have found while annotating, any quotes you found that I found and you thought were interesting. Comment down below what you thought of this video as well. Subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so it'd greatly help if you could subscribe if you would like to see this series into the future. Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, but I've been CJ. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.